Welcome to Movie Improving.
Hello.
Hello, this is the world's first and foremost film repair podcast. I'm your licensed and board-certified film repair technician, Phil Stressman.
And I'm your executive film form, James Kettler.
Yes, you are. Now, James, you have moved far away.
I did.
So you're working remotely to the film repair department now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of telecommuting.
Now, that's pretty brutal. Do you find it difficult to motivate yourself to work from home?
I don't, and I did just have one of the movie improving pneumatic tubes rerouted to my bedroom so that Glenn can still send me sandwiches every hour on the hour. So really, it's like I never left.
I have so many questions about that.
Okay.
So before you moved, you were getting hourly sandwiches via pneumatic tube from Glenn in the office.
Yeah, it's his job. He's the sandwich guy.
What size sandwiches were you eating that you needed to consume one every hour?
Oh, they were hoagies. That's the only kind of sandwich that really fits inside the pneumatic tube.
Yeah, that is the tubist sandwich. So you were eating a hoagie on the hour every hour?
Yeah.
How many calories a day is that?
Ooh, upwards of 10,000.
How did you not gain tremendous amounts of weight?
Well, Phil, as we've established repeatedly on this podcast, I am both a 9-foot-tall giant cyborg baby and also a very large ice golem. So, I need to metabolize a whole lot of energy just to function day to day.
Wouldn't the heat generated by that metabolic process melt your ice body?
No, because it doesn't.
Oh, okay, terrific. I was worried for a second, but you have assuaged my fears. Okay, but now the tube goes, how long is the sandwich tube now?
Ooh, how long? I don't know, Phil. I mean, how long is the U.S. coastline? It's hard to answer.
It's not. We could look it up probably.
No, you can't. You can't.
I think I could.
You can't know how long a coastline is, Phil. It's a logic problem.
No, you just measure it, though.
Yeah, but no, it's like a really famous problem with mathematicians is that you can't measure a coastline because first of all, it changes all the time, and also you either have to, I don't know, I don't remember all the details. I just remember you can't measure a coastline, and lots of coastline measurements come out wildly different. Look it up. Google you can't measure a coastline, and I guarantee you'll get results.
Look, you can't just say that everything that you don't know is a famous mathematical problem. Hey, what's 18% of a $120 tab? I don't know. Mathematicians have been trying to solve that one for generations. I can't do it right now in this Applebee's.
Hey, who was Millard Fillmore's vice president? I don't know. Famous math problem, never been solved. No one knows the answer.
Yeah, it's a paradox. It's kept them scratching their heads. Well, James, assuming that you have either just consumed a sandwich or have a bit of time before the next sandwich arrives, would you like to maybe warm up on a trailer or two?
Okay, sandwich is gone. Yes, let's warm up on some trailers.
Why did you eat it directly into the microphone like that?
Oh, I wasn't.
It sounded horrible.
I was very far away, actually. I just eat sandwiches real loud.
That's crazy. You should practice your sandwich manners.
They didn't teach me that in the future, Phil, where I was born.
Yeah, your timeline's getting really convoluted. Would you like to finish or start? Would you like to repair the trailer for, I'm just over here on Apple Trailers. I'm looking at a movie called Christopher Robin.
Yeah, I haven't watched that trailer yet.
It's got a poo in it. Let's go ahead and maybe see what we can do for this one.
I love movies with poo.
Yeah, that's a good joke.
The movie looks pretty cute.
What was that voice that you've just done?
It was the I saw a cute thing voice. The movie looks very cute.
The movie looks stupid as shit.
You're a cold-hearted cynic. It looks cute.
It just looks like it's just a hook again, I guess. Oh, I'm old now. I can't balance job and I got no work-life balance. Got to go stupid job. Can't love my family. Need my toys to come back. Teach me how to love family.
I don't care. It looks cute. I like Hook, too.
All I was an absence of imagination. Look, James, I think that, cute or not, we can fix this trailer pretty easily.
Pooh and Paddington go on a date.
No, I mean, I don't hate that idea. So it's a bared universe.
Yeah, it's the nope, I can't get better than bared universe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bared universe. So all cinematic bears exist in one, kind of broader Avengers style shared universe.
So
you've got Winnie.
You've got Paddington, the bear from The Revenant.
Yeah, he's there. Baloo. That's enough bears.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah, so it's Winnie the Pooh and Paddington and Baloo and the bear from The Revenant. And they're caught in sort of like a romantic quadrangle.
Yeah, Pooh really likes Paddington, but Paddington doesn't even know Pooh exists, and Paddington's dating Baloo, the very popular boy, and the bear from The Revenant is just munching on Leo DiCaprio's shins.
Yeah, just carries those shins around with him for a quick snack.
Yep.
Not so much interested in the romantic entanglements as he is interested in consuming people meat.
And he's doing it very slowly, like he's chewing on Leo like a cow chews on cud, so Leo is just still kind of screaming and writhing the entire time.
Yeah, I think there's a scene where the bear from The Revenant and Winnie the Pooh are at a restaurant. They're trying to have a date. And Winnie the Pooh keeps asking first date questions like, if you were a non-bear animal, what kind of non-bear animal would you be? And the bear from The Revenant is just making munching sounds, and Leo is screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming. And Pooh's like, no, I said if you were no, I know you're a bear now.
I'm a bear too. We're all bears. This is Bear World.
So that's one idea.
Uh-huh.
I was just going to say that clearly Christopher Robin's problem in this movie is that he has to have a job, and that maybe Winnie and Tigger and Piglet and all the other aminals from the 100 Acre Wood should just come to his world and help him destroy capitalism.
Stuffed Animal Farm?
Yeah, it's Stuffed Animal Farm. Would you like to repair another trailer, James?
Yeah, I would. Which do you have another one in mind?
Well, I'm looking at a poster here for a movie starring Lou Diamond Phillips with a girl riding a horse, and it's called Urban Country. And it's Brighton Charbino and Lou Diamond Phillips and Jason London, and it says here that Faith will find a way.
Yeah, that looks like it needs our help. So, Phil, how familiar are you with the canon of Disney Channel original movies?
Ooh, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say not particularly.
So, there's one that I remember is called Cowbells, but bells is spelled like the French word for girl.
Oh, got it.
And it stars Allie and AJ Mishaka as two like spoiled city girls who they're getting into trouble because they live in the city and they're spoiled and mean and kind of rude, and so parents send them to a farm to just hang out with farm animals, and then they learn humility. Right,
from the humble farm animals.
Yeah, and the farm life. And I'm having trouble seeing the difference between that and this movie.
Yeah, because she's troubled in the urban areas, and then they send her to the farm, to Mississippi, where only white people live.
Yep.
In the state of Mississippi.
Yep.
And she hangs out with all those white people and learns about horses and church.
Oh, and poop sure is stinky, huh?
Yeah, she hates the stinky poop. And the horses do teach her how to be respectful, I guess. It's unclear what she was doing before she moved to the country.
She was running with a bad crowd, Phil.
Yeah, so now she can move to rural Mississippi and presumably start a meth problem? So I think this one probably we just need to twist it a little bit, turn it into more of a, maybe she goes out to the farm in Mississippi and live with her dad and learn about hard work and determination in her dad's meth factory. Learn about the power of community and earning $1 with your sweat for once by manufacturing crystal methamphetamines and selling them to the poverty-stricken and hopeless town folks.
And she gets all sorts of lessons and folksy wisdom from, like Spongy and Old Chris and MC Deathstick and all the other just local meth rats who hang out down at the tavern.
Yeah, they teach her a lot of life lessons, like how to get stabbed in the tavern by Spongy.
By Spongy. What to do if someone catches you hustling pool? Answer. Get Spongy to stab him in the hand.
Yeah, just tell Spongy, he'll stab him for you.
He might stab you by accident. It's the risk you take.
Has there ever been an opposite of this movie, a situation where, because there's this story, as you mentioned with your cowbell scenario, it's pretty common, is that the city is amoral and has a deleterious effect on our nation's youth.
Mm-hmm.
So if move them to the country, do some good old-fashioned farm work, improve their lives. I feel that that's probably the opposite of the truth. Again, rural areas are generally full of methamphetamines and racism.
Yep.
Speaking primarily of exclusively white rural areas as presented in this movie. So maybe there's the farm girl has started a methamphetamine operation and has to come live with her mom in the big city instead and learns about good big city morals, like how to respect people who are different than you and how to ride the subway good.
And she becomes like a powerful executive of a company and donates her massive salary to like all kinds of charities and injects money back into her rural community and cleans it up and cleans up the drug problem and also makes the folks less racist with all her big city learning.
Well, no, that sounds actually just as shitty and patriarchal as the plot of this movie. Dang it.
Crap.
I mean, the alternative is that we could go even deeper into this, and that if going from a place populated with lots of people to a place populated with fewer, less educated people is good, maybe if you go to a place with the least amount of people, then you'll be the most wholesome of all. And it's centered to the moon.
And she just has the perfect society there because it's just her.
It's just her, and she just runs around and maybe talks out loud about how, like, wow, I sure am learning about hard work.
Gotta move all these moon rocks. But actually, it's not that hard work because the gravity is lower, so they're much easier to carry.
No way for me to go to the county jail up here, Lou Diamond Phillips. There's no crime on the moon. No such thing as moon crime.
You know why? Because it's just me. There's no one for me to do anything to.
Unless I create new laws and pass them through the legislature of my own brain, and then I break those new moon laws. I'll be the only moon criminal, and the only one who can catch me is me, the moon detective. And then it becomes a really tense game of cat and mouse as the moon detective tries to catch the elusive moon criminal, but she never can because she's her.
She's just her, yeah. Just running laps around the moon, always trying to catch herself.
So I think it's called Urban Moon Country: Moon Crimes.
_ the Great Moon Detective.
Yeah. Urban Moon Country: Moon Crimes, the Great Moon Detective.
Yeah.
James, do you feel sufficiently limbered up and loosey-goosey, ready to hop around in moon gravity and go ahead and fix a full-length feature film?
Oh boy, yeah. Full length is right. This movie was long as shit.
Yeah, longer, easier to hop over than walk around for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not that tall is what I'm saying of a film.
Yeah.
Because Godzilla was short in it.
Yeah, he was very short. Yeah, we're fixing the 90s Godzilla this time. The 90s American Godzilla this time.
We're fixing the Godzilla movie so bad they retconned Godzilla out of it.
Yeah, because that's not a Godzilla in this movie, is it?
No, it's Zilla in this movie.
Yeah. They didn't do that, right? Japan did that later. Toho did that later.
Yeah, the nation of Japan got together and said,
that's not
no,
Godzilla.
thank you. That's just a big lizard that you've got there.
Yeah, well, so the Godzilla in this movie, lives in the Atlantic Ocean.
Does it? Oh, yeah, because it's on the eastern seaboard, huh?
Yeah, he attacks New York. So he lives in the Atlantic Ocean. And also he was created by France.
Well, James, I mean, technically, they show Godzilla come ashore, and then they show a bunch of footprints, and then he's in New York. So we don't really establish how far those footprints traveled. He could have just walked from the West Coast to New York City.
That's true.
And then he got real hot, so he got back in the water to cool off.
And then he popped up in Manhattan because he wanted to see the sights. Yeah, Phil, I got a lot of ideas here. This movie really sucked, but it was a font of inspiration for me.
I'm glad, James. Would you like to, you want me to bust out the old give him your worst first theme song?
Please.
Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Give him your worst first.
That was just Super Mario Bros. Underground was just the first theme that came into your head.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
So this idea it's very similar to an idea we've pitched for another movie, but I'm really just pitching it for the title. So one thing that Godzilla does do in this movie that Godzilla doesn't do in other movies that I thought was good is he runs a lot.
Well, he's got space to run, right? Like a regular Godzilla-sized Godzilla is going to be running a bunch of old buildings, but a Zilla-sized Godzilla can just sneaky snake right through them.
Right. Yeah. And I did like that he ran. So I did want to pitch. This kind of ties into your idea that like maybe he just walked all the way across the country.
Mm-hmm.
My movie is called Chariots of Nuclear Fire Breath.
Please explain that to me. I don't understand.
Like that movie about running chariots of fire?
No, I don't know what that is.
You've never heard of Chariots of Fire?
No.
It's that movie. It's that running movie from the 80s that beat Raiders of the Lost Ark for the Oscar. It's got that music that's like bum 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 bum.
I know the song.
Bum bum bum. I don't know anything about the movie other than it's about running. Look, I just wanted to make a Chariots of Fire pun. I thought that would land better.
I'm sorry. I fucked that up for you. Oh, yeah, this song rules.
Are you just listening to the Chariots of Fire theme?
Yeah, along with the accompanying video. So they're all wearing the same shirt? What are they running for?
I think it's a marathon.
Okay, so do you want to retake your title reveal now that I know what it is?
Yeah, so it's my movie's called Chariots of Nuclear Fire Breath.
How was that? Was that better?
No. No, it wasn't. It sounded very staged.
Oh, darn it. Look, you're the actor here, not me.
Yeah. Phil, how about you? What you want to, when you got an idea and one of them's bad, put it in the garbage, give him your worst first.
Put him in the garbage of this podcast, our brain garbage can. Godzilla lays eggs in this movie.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, what about a movie about Godzilla going into a city and then having a live birth? But everybody rallies around him. It's like when somebody's all of a sudden like, oh no, we're trapped in an elevator. This she's going into labor. Got to help deliver the baby. It's kind of like that, except the elevator is all of New York City and the lady is Godzilla. And everyone's like, fuck, we got to destroy this big monster. It's blowing up our... Wait, what's that? Oh, it's laying down now. It's breathing real heavy. Oh, it's crowning. We all have to get... Somebody call it... Is anyone here a real big doctor?
Do we have any very large doctors? And then King Kong walks up and he's got like a lab coat on and one of them like doctor headbands with the big metal circle.
Mm-hmm. But then he just jumps onto the Empire State Building and starts punching it. They're like, shoot, that's not going to work.
Darn it. Just because you give a monkey a big lab coat doesn't make him a doctor.
And then cut to the lab coat manufacturer and he's just shrugging.
I thought it'd make him smarter.
What else do you have, James?
Well, speaking of King Kong,
yeah.
So in this movie, Godzilla...
King of the Kongs.
Yeah, so in this movie, Godzilla goes to New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And that's generally...
Just like you.
Yes, just like me. In a way, Phil, I am the Godzilla. But that New York, that's King Kong's typical hangout spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, what if King Kong went to Tokyo?
Yeah, has that ever happened?
I don't think so, because even in King Kong versus Godzilla, they still fight in America.
Okay, so King Kong goes to Tokyo. How does he get there? Because Godzilla is sort of a amphibious kaiju.
Mm-hmm.
King Kong, how does he get there? Does he have a big helicopter with King Kong written on the back of it, and he just hops in there and like, time for a vacation. Flies across the ocean over
a very, very, very large helicopter. Yeah, and he's not actually going to Japan for vacation. His plan was to just head west to Europe, but he wanted to fly from the west.
Yeah, that tracks. Look, he's a big stupid monkey.
Yeah, and then
he doesn't know about geography good.
But as he's flying in his helicopter, he has an intrinsic hatred of flying vehicles. So while he's over Japan, he just kind of realizes that he's in a helicopter, and he swats himself out of the sky, and he crash lands in Tokyo.
Yeah, and he does his big King Kong thing. He's really upset that he's crash landed. He goes blind with rage and starts bashing down buildings, throwing girders all over the place, grabbing human women. Yep. Until one brave man rises up to run up those girders and dodge all of his barrels and challenge him in combat. And amongst the spectators down on the Tokyo streets, another man points excitedly and says, "Look at that man fight that big donkey." And that was, of course, Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got an idea here that's the Godzilla in this movie is the littlest Zilla. Technically the original Zilla was the littlest Zilla. He was only like 54 meters tall. This Zilla is the littlest modern Zilla. He's only like 70 meters tall.
Yeah, he's not very big.
By way of comparison, the 2014 American Zilla was like 113 meters tall.
Yep.
There's a new Godzilla movie on the Netflix, came out last year, where Godzilla is 300 meters tall.
They're just making him bigger and bigger.
That's a big, big boy, because as human, technology develops, buildings get bigger. A Zilla has to get bigger in order to compete. And I also like that, with the exception of the Roland Emmerich Zilla, the Godzillas tend to get beefier too. Like their head kind of stays the same size as the body sort of swells up and beefs up.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so I just kind of want to explore how big a Zilla can go. What's the absolutist Godzilla unit that we can make that's still legible as a Zilla for human beings?
Can we go planet-sized?
Well, now, so a planet-sized Zilla isn't really... I mean, it sort of just becomes another planet then at that point. I mean, its gravity would turn its Godzilla meat into a sphere, and then... I mean, I guess it could be a big spherical Godzilla planet that would be the real planet of the monsters. And maybe the people who lived there never realized that they lived on a Zilla until one day it wakes up.
Oh, spooky. And it's like this movie where there's that scene where the soldiers are like exploring the caves, and the one guy is like, "What do you see?" And the other one's like, "Nothing. There's nothing here. Nothing at all." And then Godzilla opens his eye behind him, and it turns out he was looking at the Godzilla the whole time, but he couldn't tell it was a Godzilla.
Because he lived on it.
Yeah, So it is Earth, and it is set in San Francisco, and the scientists looking at the earthquake fault line, and they're like, it's so active lately. Hey, is the fault line getting bigger? And it turns out San Andreas fault, that's actually his eyelid, and a giant eye opens.
Okay, but then what does he do? I guess just shakes off the people and then flies into space.
Yeah, well, he opens his mouth.
Goes to fuck Mars.
He opens his mouth, which is the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and all the water that's been collecting on the surface while he's been asleep just kind of drains into him mouth. And then, he does just kind of turn his head and shake the planet until we all fall into his big, big mouth.
But we're not even a snack to him. We're a nothing. It'd be like if you were trying to just eat plankton.
Yeah, well, Phil, if you look at nature right now, lots of the biggest animals on Earth eat real tiny stuff, right? Like whales just eat plankton and shit. Maybe he's a filter feeder.
So he's a filter feeder. So he's got he opens his mouth, and instead of big, sharp Godzilla teeth, it's those just nasty strings that whales have.
Yeah, baleen. Ugh.
Yeah, so he sucks us all through the baleen.
Yeah, which, to us, from our human perspective, each one of those is as big around as a tree trunk. So we do just get lots of footage of people falling through and just slamming into this shit, getting all bloody, like they're falling through a fucking thicket of telephone poles or something.
A thicket of telephone poles. You could have said forest, but you went for a thicket of telephone poles.
Yeah, I know what I said.
What's a word for a bunch of trees? I don't know. Different metaphor.
Yeah.
So similarly, what's the smallest a Zilla could be and still be a threat? 7 foot tall Zilla breathing fire. That's still pretty scary.
It's basically just like a Charizard at that point, but yes.
4 foot tall Zilla breathing fire. Less scary, but still you wouldn't want to come across one in a dark alley. 6 inch tall Zilla. I'm not worried about that Zilla.
Ooh, ouch. Burnt my foot a little.
I'm just going to punt that Zilla.
I'm just going to crush him like a little cockroach.
Foot long Mothra. That's real gross. Yuck.
But
I don't
also,
want to see a foot long Mothra.
but also magical somehow.
Yeah, the women singing to it would be even tinier.
And their singing would just sound like...
Foot long King Ghidorah. That's still pretty scary. He's got 3 heads.
He's got 3 heads. 6-inch King Ghidorah, I don't
Still
know.
real weird. It would weird me out.
Is that what is that what we consider a threat at this point? Just anything that makes us go like, ugh.
Yeah, maybe that's not exactly a threat. Okay. So what? Yeah. What? Okay. Let me put it this way. What's the smallest Zilla that would still ostensibly drive the plot of a movie by appearing?
I think child-sized is about as small as I'm willing to go.
And I think that it's because Godzilla's a pretty recognizable creature. I think that it gets scarier at the small sizes depending on how sort of fucked up the character design of the kaiju is to begin with.
Yeah.
Like a child-sized destroyer is way scarier than a child-sized Godzilla.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or child-sized Rodan.
Yeah, that's yuck. Child-sized King Caesar is maybe the scariest thing I've ever even thought of. Ugh.
What's the turtle? Is that Gamera? Is Gamera the big old turtle?
Gamera.
You know, child-sized Gamera spinning his shell, spitting fire everywhere.
Yeah, I guess. Sort of just a tortoise, but it is a tortoise with special moves.
Yeah.
We are just talking about Pokemon now, though.
Yeah. Tiny person-sized kaiju. That's just Pokemons.
James, would you like to give me another idea?
I would. This is an idea. We may need to ship this idea to another department. We may need to ship this over to the TV and preview department because this is more an idea for a show. But there's a scene in this movie where the old man goes out on the dock and he's fishing and Godzilla steals his fishing rod.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty simple. It's the TV show Big Kaiju Fishing.
Oh, so it's like when you turn on HGTV at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and there's just a bunch of dudes out fishing on a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Except now they're trying to catch the humongous monsters of the deep.
Yeah, but it is still the guys in, like the knee-high rubber boots and like the floppy fishing hats with the hooks all in them, and they are in like a little rowboat, but they are still just giving you tips and tricks on how to catch them big kaijus.
Yeah, do their tips and tricks ever work?
No, they get capsized every time.
Feels like an old man in the sea kind of a situation where even if they caught one, they're probably not going to get it home intact.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I guess their tips and tricks do work in a way because they do frequently like get the kaiju to bite their lines, and they do reel the kaiju in, but just their boat is too small and it always gets smashed.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad show. But it does kind of lead nicely into one of my ideas, which is that Godzilla is frequently a ocean inhabiting animal. He's depicted as sleeping on the ocean floor until the world needs him to wake up and come fight another kaiju
or he gets woken up by bombs.
Sure. But he's amphibious, right?
Yeah.
What about just a full-on water monster a la a kraken? We never had like a full-on kraken movie. There was a big octopus in Godzilla versus, I think it was in Godzilla versus King Kong, but I want like a full-on kraken, like the nasty monster of the deep, the evil god of the ocean dark.
Yeah, just a big, nasty mass of tentacles and beak and big ol' eyes.
Smashing up boats. Again, in this movie, and I watched Pacific Rim last night too for unrelated reasons, but like Boats are just an afterthought. The boat is like the canary in the coal mine of the kaiju movie. Oh, I
Yeah.
smashed a boat, and now it's coming to land. But in this movie, the boat is the land.
And Phil, I think it has to be a bigger boat. I think it's got to be a big old aircraft carrier.
I think it's got to be a fleet, actually, because the thing of a kaiju is like, it's not just versus a one building. It's versus an entire city of building.
Right.
So an aircraft carrier or a submarine or whatever is just the one boat. It's got to be a big old armada this thing's taken out.
Yeah. So it's a military naval battle because for some reason we've decided to go back to those again, and two sides are fighting, and the war gets too loud and it wakes up the Kraken at the bottom of the ocean. He comes to the surface to fuck everybody up because he's sleepy and he want to go back to bed.
Too loud. Knock it off. At first he tries banging a broom against the ceiling, but even his large broom is enough to take out one ship.
Yeah. It destroys one of the ships, and the other side is like, hell yeah, we took one out. Wait, was that a broom?
I think it was a broom. James, what else do you have?
So again, in this movie did a weird thing. So obviously, the original Godzilla is a metaphor for like the fears that Japan had after we, the United States, bombed them with nuclear weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie did a weird thing where it tried to like absolve America of blame for that by making Godzilla created by the French's nuclear testing. And Jean Reno like gives that speech to Matthew Broderick where he's like, sometimes our country, it makes mistakes and I must fix them. And Matthew Broderick's like, oh yeah, all those nuclear tests that France did in the Pacific. Yeah, you guys should feel real bad about that. So I was thinking, what if France actually did have its own kaiju? And so I would like to pitch the movie Escar Gojira.
It's a big snail.
It's a big old snail.
Look at that escargot!
I'm glad we got 2 puns out of that.
Yeah. It's a big slow kaiju.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's very slow. But it's also still dangerous because, France is like, or Paris as a city is like very, very low. Like there's no tall buildings in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
So the snail just kind of, he doesn't need to be very big or fast because he just slowly rolls over this very small, short city.
Can't stop him.
And then it turns out that the Eiffel Tower is actually a giant salt shaker, and they just got to knock it over onto him.
Oh, see, I was going to say that they were going to use the Eiffel Tower like a big old fork and just kind of peel him out of that shell.
Nope, it's a big salt shaker.
Okay. Well, again, this sort of like kind of folds nicely into one of my other ideas because I had an idea here so Godzilla's from Tokyo.
Yeah.
King Kong, he loved New York City.
Yep.
Etc. So my idea here was kaiju franchises. Every city's got its own kaiju. Sometimes they get them together and they fight each other like sports teams.
Okay. The NKL.
Yeah, National Kaiju League. Well, it'd be the International Kaiju League because now you've put Paris in the mix. We've got Godzilla there from Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like a world monster series.
Okay. Yeah. So who are some other what's London's kaiju like?
I think probably it's a sheep.
Yeah, it's a big old sheep.
Yes, it's from England, right? So it's got to be a big sheep.
Miami's got a big old dolphin kaiju.
Yeah, or an alligator. Florida, right?
Yeah, I like the idea of a dolphin kaiju better, though.
Okay, sure.
Just a big, nasty, gross, fire-breathing dolphin.
Chicago's got a big deep dish pizza.
Just smothers the other kaiju with all its cheese.
Mm-hmm. Denver, they've got kaijus. Mile High, it's a giraffe.
Why is it a giraffe?
Because it's a mile high, baby.
Brazil's got one of those like penguins with the big yellow eyebrows.
The macaroni penguin.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Toronto has just a big old Mountie.
Oh, it's a guy?
Yeah, it's the only human kaiju. It's just a Mountie who grew too big.
Well, maybe it's like a Ultraman style, like big robot, but Mountie.
Yeah, okay, I'm good with that too.
Because I think like Detroit, right, manufacturing center, they got a robot. It's in disrepair. It's a real rusty robot.
Yeah. And that is his name, Rusty the Robot.
Yep, rusty robot. Oh, never win. But he's got a lot of.
He's the only INKL mascot to go 0-13 in a season.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so yeah, Kaiju franchises, International Monster World Series.
The INMWS.
Yeah, it's the INMWS.
Yep. That's pretty good. I would watch that.
What else do you have, James?
So in this movie, Godzilla lays a bunch of eggs.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of little shitty-looking baby Godzillas running around because this movie basically just wanted to be Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sort of did, huh?
Yeah. So, you know that show Muppet Babies?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kaiju babies, though.
Okay, so we've already got a mini-Zilla, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then we're going to do baby versions of each of the other.
Yeah, and I think the key is that they are all very, very cute. Because that was my other idea. Because that was my other idea to fix this movie. Because obviously in this movie, Godzilla looks like a literal pile of dog shit every time he on screen. So what if it was the opposite and he was just really, really cute? And yes, kaiju babies.
Yeah, little baby Orga. Just
Yep.
nasty claws, big head scrambling around.
Mm-hmm.
I already mentioned how hideous a tiny King Caesar would be.
Yep.
I think that they have to be puppets too, not cartoons.
Yeah, I agree. So basically, like they just look like that show Dinosaurs.
Kind of, yeah, but grosser. You know that one with a big head, Gorosaurus.
Oh, yeah.
I think they've all got more like Gorosaurus-esque proportions, like bigger heads and smaller limbs. Like Rodan's wings are real small.
Mm-hmm.
I think Baragon's got even bigger ears.
Ghidorah can't hold his heads up.
No, not at all.
They're just always flopping around.
No, I think he pulls them around in a little wagon.
He tries to fly and his heads are the last thing to leave the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So what do they do? Do they fight each other? Do they tussle on the old playground?
Yeah, they do.
Do they solve mysteries?
Yes, yep, they solve mysteries. I think it's that.
I mean, how big are they in relation to a human person?
I think they're still like the size of a house, which is, pretty small for a kaiju, but still very, very large.
Do they interact with human beings?
Yeah, no, I think they solve human mysteries.
Oh, okay.
I think they're basically like the Scooby-Doo team, like they're stopping like real estate development scams and stuff. But in the process, they just accidentally level whole city blocks.
Yeah, because I think that they always start out trying to solve a big mystery, like, oh, Mrs. Turfadurpolis down the street lost her cat again. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of cats gone missing in this neighborhood. I think something else is going on. We need to collect clues. But then, like, Rodan's like, I don't want to collect clues. I think we need to interrogate the witness. And Godzilla's like, no, we're going to collect clues first. We didn't even have a witness. Next thing you know, they're roughhouse and they're knocking down the house of the lady they were trying to help anyway.
Mm-hmm. And then Ghidorah's like, hey, I know how we can find all the cats. Just burn it all down and the cats will be left. And he just burns the whole town down.
And then Baragon's like, actually, I was eating the cats.
Baragon.
Yep, and then freeze frames credits roll.
Yeah. And this show does have a laugh track.
Yeah, and I think every episode the town is intact again, right? Like there's no serialized consequences to this.
Yep.
Yeah, so kaiju babies. I just have one more idea here. It's is kaiju heist.
Okay.
Which is the idea that like a big kaiju's hitting the city, wrecking everything up real good. You know what that's the perfect opportunity for?
A heist job.
A big heist job, yeah. I think there's a guy on the inside, right? Because in these movies, there's always the government's there, and they're like, "We look at all these clues. Here's the big footprints. Boat got destroyed. Big tail got dragged all the way across Boise. Something's coming." And I think that guy's on the inside, and he's telling all his crew, he's like, "Look, something's coming, and it's going to knock down some buildings, and one of those buildings might be full of jewelry and bonds.
Yeah, so what I mean, it seems like it's not really a heist so much as it is just like
Looting?
looting.
Well, he's got to get out though, but he works for the government, so he's got to sneak out and do it right underneath their nose.
What if the heist is on the kaiju?
So the heist is on the kaiju?
Yeah, so I mean, kaiju always got like weird stuff growing out of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe this kaiju's got like some big he's subterranean. He came from under the earth, and he's got some big old shiny gems embedded into his skin. So the heist is they got to get on that kaiju, pry out the gems, and get away before the government notices.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Or what if the giant monster eats the bank and then all the gold is just stuck in its teeth? They're like, dang it. Now we got to get up in that mouth.
Maybe they were robbing the bank and then the kaiju attacked and got eaten. So now they got to get out of the kaiju with all their gold.
Oh, so they're in there Jonah and the whale style.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Maybe all of these things happen.
So they're robbing a bank. The kaiju eat the bank.
So they are planning a kaiju heist because they do know that the kaiju is coming.
Yeah.
And then the kaiju shows up and they're like, hey, change of plans, guys. The jewels that are on that kaiju are even better than what we were going to steal before. But then the leader of the crew's like, stick to the plan. We can't just go peeling kaiju jewels off all willy-nilly. We've got a plan. We got to do it. So they go to the bank to rob it of all of the bonds and gold. But meanwhile, like the number 2 in the crew he's peeling off and he's like, nah, guys, we're going to steal the gems off the back. Screw this bank deal. But then the kaiju eats the bank. And so half the crew is stuck in the kaiju's belly, and they're like, we got to get out of here. But also all of our gold is in that boy's teeth. We got to get it too. And the other half of the crew is on top of the kaiju prying gems off. And they're like, we got to help our friends that we've abandoned. And they all work together and bring down the monster.
Maybe they don't bring down the monster. Maybe, because I think that the like every good heist has like a time limit on it of some sort. Like, oh, we got to finish this job before the casino owner notices the safe is open or something like that. So I think in this case, it's that they got to get all the gold out the teeth and get the gems off the back before that kaiju gets blown up by the nuclear missiles from the government. So I don't think they take down the monster. I think in the process of getting each other out of the stomach and getting all them gold and gems, they actually help that monster escape.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think, the missiles are, they've gotten the crew out of the stomach. They've all got their gems. They've got their gold. They're ready to peace out. And they're like, oh, no, the missiles are incoming. We can't just leave this poor boy. He just made us rich as hell. So they pry off one last big old diamond off his back, and they throw it at the missiles, and it deflects them, and the kaiju escapes back into the ocean.
And he gives him a big thumb up.
Yep.
Because also those gems were just stuck in his back, and they were really itchy.
Yeah. Yep. Nailed it.
James, do you have any more ideas, or should we pick one of these?
No, let's make the one we just said. I really like kaiju heist.
Okay.
I think it's easily our most fleshed out idea, and I think it's very good.
Okay. So a lot of what we said about it was nonsense. So do we want to pare it down a little bit?
I don't know what you're talking about, Phil. I think it's a brilliant setup for a movie.
Okay, so we'll just seamlessly transition out of that. I don't think we've ever done this where the last one that we talked about is also our choice.
Yeah, I don't either.
So just to reiterate briefly, kaiju coming, government speaks, special government agency getting ready. Within that agency is a guy who's also on the side of Jewel Thief, takes that inside info and tells all of their crew about like, hey, I've tracked out the path of this kaiju and it's leading right to where all of the gold and jewels is in the bank. We're gonna steal it.
Yep.
And then their number 2 is always questioning them, challenging their plans. And they're like, have you looked at this thing? I've been studying the footage, covered in jewels. I think better idea is climb up there, get those jewels. And our main person's like, look, too risky. 1, too risky. 2, you just saw grainy footage of its back. You don't even know that is jewels and rubies and diamonds. And
It could just
I've seen
it
enough.
could just be sweat. You don't know.
It could just be some old monster garbage. It's like, look, I've been in this industry long enough. I can tell the difference between an uncut emerald and a bunch of nasty monster garbage. So he has got his splinter group, and they're like, we're gonna go steal the the jewels off the back. So while in the midst of, they're holding up the bank. Do they hold up the bank, or do they just wait for the bank to get smashed into?
I think they wait for I think the bank is evacuated and they're sneaking in.
Got it. But while they're sneaking in, he's like, okay, cut the cameras. Cut the cameras, Greg. Greg, are you there? Meanwhile, Greg and his boys are on the back of the kaiju already.
Yep. They grappling hooked up the tail and climbed up there.
Yeah. So they're down in the bank. They're like, shit. And there's another guy. He's like, we got to get out of here. And he's like, no, not without my valuables. No, it's coming this way. We got to get out of here. No, I'm not leaving without my value. I'll do it by hand. And then they all get swallowed up.
He swallows the bank whole, I think it's important to note. So, like, they are still in the bank, in the stomach, and now they got to break out of the bank and out of the monster.
Yeah, I think he's like, cut the electricity. Nobody's cutting the electricity. And then the electricity goes out, and he's like, ugh, geez, finally. Turns out it's because they got eated.
Yep. And I think one of the lower ranking henchmen just like kind of runs out the front door, and he's like, haha, suckers, I'm ditching you and taking this gold for myself. And then, oops, he falls right into stomach acid, gets dissolved.
Yeah, right in front of everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the guys they sent out a smoke signal out of the thing's mouth, and then that's when the jewel thieves on the back find out that their friends have gotten eaten. And like, they had a difference of opinion about what to steal, but thieves' code, they got to protect they friends.
Yeah, they don't want them to get turned into kaiju poop.
No, that's a terrible fate that no one would wish on anyone.
Awful. Yeah, so they see the smoke signal and they gotta, throw ropes down the kaiju's throat and help their buddies climb out.
Yeah, but that's when the kaiju notices them.
Yeah.
And they realize that not only is the kaiju like trying to avoid the attacks from the government, like helicopters and surface-to-air missiles, but it also like tried to like get them out of the way, because it did really appreciate them prying those jewels out of its back. They were driving it crazy. And he's like, now you're my friends. Like, it's trying to protect us. No, it's just a big monster. No, it's not. Watch how it moves. It knows that we're here. And then that's when it gives them a big thumbs up, and they're like, see? We have to protect it.
Like he protect us.
Yeah. So then the guy who was the Greg, who was the guy who leaded the splinter group, but was also supposed to be, he's like the Simon Pegg-esque like hacker man. He was supposed to take down the lights in the safe and stuff. I think he hacks in from the back of the kaiju into the government missiles and, changes their path and saves him.
Yeah.
And then the kaiju, goes down in the water and winks at him and swims away. And then they leave with all of their golden jewels and treasure.
Yeah, I like this a lot. And then, of course, with all the riches that they pried off those kaiju's backs, like it's such a massive influx of money that it fixes the national debt, and then the thieves are elected president.
Yeah, and then in the sequel, the president thieves, they're all co-president. They have to call their friend back to fight the new monster who arrives.
Yeah.
But this one's made out of, guess what? It's made out of, the whole thing is made out of, it's $100 bills.
Oh, no. We sold those kaiju stones for money, and the money got radiated, and now it's a monster.
Dang it. Well,
Shoot.
all of us learned an important lesson about greed.
About the value of $1.
Shall we cast this movie?
Yes.
We can just random up this whole deal, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Our star, who is the leader of the government, not the leader of the government, he's the leader of the thief crew who works in government.
Yep.
Okay, from the movie Life of the Party, it's going to be Melissa McCarthy.
Hell yeah. Head thief Melissa McCarthy. I love it.
Yeah, this is definitely the role she was born to play. She's got
Yes.
the gravitas to pull it off, and also the comic chops to really sell, when she slips on kaiju tongue and fall down.
Yeah.
Now let's cast her number 2, her Greg, who leads the Splinter kaiju body jewel stealing operation.
And I just want to say, Greg can be a man or a woman, but their name will be Greg.
It's going to be Greg. So from the movie A Quiet Place.
Okay.
So it is Noah Jupe.
Is that the child?
Yeah, he is 13.
He is a Doogie Howser of jewel thieves.
Yeah, he's a real prodigy.
Fucking Greg.
So Greg's like her nephew then, huh?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
He's a lead hacker.
He's really good at the family business.
He's so good at computers.
Yep.
I need a new thief assistant who know about computers. Oh, my nephew Greg, he knows them. He set up my internet.
He's who I call every time I get a new email and I don't know how to open the attachment.
All right, let's round out this crew. Give me a heist movie cliche character.
The member of the team who uses their good looks or their sex appeal to distract some folks.
Yeah, the face.
Yeah, the face. Yep.
So from the movie Hotel Transylvania 3, David Spade is going to be our face.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Also, we need the person who's like a real wild card who like kills the guard for no reason or whatever.
Mm-hmm. The psychopath.
Yeah.
The one who's in it for the thrill.
Going back to that old Peter Rabbit well.
Jesus Christ.
Sam Neill.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Yeah, Sam Neill.
Basically just go. Oh, I'm sorry. No, please say what you were going to say in that accent.
He's a real wild card.
Yeah, so it's basically just end of Event Horizon Sam Neill.
Yeah. I've seen the depths of space hell, and I've come completely unglued.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got a face, we've got the hacker, we've got the leader, we've got the psychopath.
We need
the gymnast.
Yeah, the one to do like the laser maze.
Yeah, laser maze gymnast.
Crawl through the vents.
From the movie The Nutcracker and the Four Realms.
I'm sorry?
The Nutcracker and the Four Realms.
What?
The Nutcracker and the Four Realms.
What are the four... What?
A young girl is transported into a magical world of gingerbread soldiers and an army of mice, which sounds like the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Four Realms are. It's coming out November 2nd from Disney.
What? Okay.
Anywho, it's going to be Matthew McFadden.
I don't know who that is.
He's in Pride and Prejudice and the Three Musketeers. He seems British.
Cool.
The British gymnast.
That is his character's name.
Yep, the British gymnast. Nobody knows his real name.
Well, he does. He is constantly telling the team, like, my name is Stuart, please. Please just call me Stuart. And they're like, shut up, British gymnast. Go through the lasers. He is the one who gets dissolved by stomach acid once they get eaten by the monster.
Yeah, he backflips right into them guts. Let's do one more.
How about the driver?
Okay.
Just kind of like the big dumb sweet lug who just drives the van.
So from the movie Annihilation, we got a Benedict Wong.
Yeah, love me a Benedict Wong.
Yeah, it's always a lovely, tasty treat to have yourself a Benedict Wong.
Yeah, with that hollandaise on top.
So should we have a head government soldier?
Ooh, yes, the mean general want blow up monster.
From the movie Escape Plan 2, Hades.
What are these movies?
They escape from hell, I guess?
No, Phil, they escape from Hades.
Anyway, it's Jesse Metcalf.
Oh, okay, sure.
Just some handsome rando.
Yeah, no, I know who he be. I know who he is. He's a very young, like, 5-star general.
Yeah, he's really moved up through the ranks quick. Well, I think the monster yeeted a lot of the other generals.
Oh, that's probably...
They were all having a big meeting in the war room.
Yeah, and he ate the war room.
All right, finally, voice of monster.
Oh, the monster talks.
Yep.
Okay.
Only right at the end.
Only right when he's giving that thumbs up.
Yeah, and he's going back into the waves, and he says, "Sayonara, suckers."
He does the little surfer cowabunga hand.
Okay, from the movie. God damn it! No, I don't want the Nutcracker in the Four Realms again. From Ocean's 8.
Ooh, fitting.
Yeah, another heist movie. We're casting heists for our heist.
Oh, please be Rihanna. Is it Rihanna? Tell me it's Rihanna.
It's Deidre Goodwin from Chicago and across the universe.
Chicago, the band Chicago?
Yeah, she's from the band Chicago. No, the musical film.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Deidre Goodwin, you're the voice of our kaiju. Now, James, what are we going to call this mess?
Ocean's 1, Ocean's very big one.
Ocean's very big one. Now, we did say that this kaiju came up out of the ground, not the ocean. As good as that title was, and it was good. Now, kaiju heist is a little bit too straightforward, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
What about just like, what about one big job?
This summer, these jewel thieves are in for one big job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the monster.
It's called One Big Job. Tagline, it's a monster of an operation.
Oh man, that doesn't make any sense. That's what saying is that even playing off of?
Like, it's not playing off a saying, it's just this is the operation they're trying to do, and who boy is it a monster.
But also there's literally a monster.
But also in fact there is a monster involved.
Okay, we've done it. We've made one big job.
One big job.
I didn't think Kaiju Heist was going to be the winning idea, but dang it if we didn't make a heck of a film out of it.
No, it's very good, and I like it, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Oh, man, me neither. Coming to a theater near you, just like all of our movie improvements. Rent them at your local Blockbuster.
This one might end up going straight to Netflix. They might give away the rights to this one, but that's okay.
Yeah. Look, for us, it's just about the love of improving.
Yep. We don't care about how it gets distributed or how much money it makes or if it's good.
It's just the process,
Yeah. Look, it don't have to be good. It just has to be better than what we fixed. And that is almost always impossible not to do.
Yeah, we really stack the deck in our own favor.
Yep.
Well, thank you, James.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you for listening. Thank you to Cusick for the use of their song Dragonfly as our theme song.
It's very good.
It's a very good song. Thank you to Roland Emmerich for making terrible movies for us to watch.
Yep.
Thank you to Jean Reno for everything you do.
Yeah.
You're a real treasure.
You're a real sport.
Follow us on Twitter at Movie Improvie. I'm on Twitter at Phil Stressman. James is on Twitter at DocProfessorMan. Like and subscribe. Fucking subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on Spotify. Subscribe on even YouTube. Why not? How about subscribe on all the things, and then you'll have 7 different versions of the podcast. You can choose which one you want to listen to each week.
I mean, it's the same version of the podcast, just on different sources.
Yeah, you can be like, well, do I want to listen to it on Stitcher? Do I want to listen to it on Spotify? Do I want to listen to it on Downcast? I can, we want you to be able to choose the best podcast listening experience for yourself. So download it 17 times and then pick which one you want to hear.
That way, no matter what Silicon Valley tech company you're boycotting today, you always have another option.
You got it covered.
Yeah.
We got you covered.
Yep.
Is that it? Is there anything else? Hey, check out the SpongeBob musical.
It's going to be good. I'll let you know how good it is next week.
Oh man, I can't wait, James.
Yeah.
This Krabs, will he be there? Don't tell me. I don't want to spoil it.
I do know that Squidward has a tap number.
Of course he does. Well, like Squidward, like Squidward and his many legs, all I have left to say is come on, step it up.
Come on, step it up. Gotta go fast.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Oh my God, that was fucking stupid.
It always is.
Yeah, I know.